This is the BassForecast bait breakdown on the craw and tube soft plastic category. In this short video, we're going to cover these 5 topics: key features, top tips, matching forage, rod, reel, and line, and hook set. So let's start with the key features. This category of soft plastic lure is very easy to rig and fish, so here are its components. Both of these should be rigged Texas style, and here's how you do that. First, take your peg and thread it onto your line. This will be used to hold the weight in place. Then after that, put your bullet weight on the line. Then tie your hook on. Lastly, poke the hook through the nose of the lure about 1/3 of an inch, feed the hook through, turn it so it hides the knot in the soft plastic head, keeping that hook point just under the skin of the soft plastic so it's weedless. Now when selecting your bullet weight, pick a weight that would be just heavy enough to penetrate that lure into whatever shallow cover you're fishing. It could be 1/4 ounce, could be 1/2 ounce, could be 1 ounce for heavy matted grass. And for the hook size, use a 3 or a 4/0. That will usually take care of most lures in the craw tube category, in either an extra wide gap or a straight shank flipping hook. The retrieval of a craw or a tube is super simple. Let me teach you. Step 1 is to either make a long cast over your area, or you can pitch it to a piece of visible cover you see in the water. Once your craw or tube has hit the bottom and you're sure of that, slowly hop and lift that bait off the bottom and let it sink back down until you get a bite or your lure is now out of the strike zone, which then you rinse and repeat to the next piece of cover or over the next area. If you're unsure of how fast to hop it off the bottom, follow the BassForecast recommended retrieval speed in the app. But where should you fish your soft plastic craws and tubes? This lure category excels around shallow cover and medium depth structure. And that category consists of shallow grass, boat docks, shallow brush, lay down trees, and rock piles. So check the BassForecast recommended location for today's fishing and find the shallow and medium cover and structure on those locations. The craw and tube category does a fantastic job of imitating the forage that your bass are eating. If the forage is bluegill, throw a craw that has a lot of appendages, a ton of action. If they're eating crawfish, downsize your craw size both in body and in claw size and really match the color. If you're not sure if they're eating crawfish or bluegill and the water is cold, throw a tube because it has a whole lot less appendages, therefore gives less action and has a more finessey presentation. And if you know they're eating bait fish, don't throw a craw or a tube, throw a swim bait. And when it comes to color in dirty water, stick to the black and blue variations to help the fish find your soft plastic craw. And in clear water, go with more natural colors, your watermelon variations, your green pumpkins. These colors are a great place to start, but keep in mind, every color soft plastic can catch a bass, so find what works for you on your body of water. The rod, reel, and line you need for a craw and a tube is probably the bait casting combo you already have. And that is a medium heavy rod with a fast action of at least 7 foot in length, 12 to 20 pound fluorocarbon line, and a fast gear ratio reel. But if you're fishing this category around shallow, heavy cover, you're gonna need a little bit beefier of a combo. So a 7.3 to 7.6 heavy power rod with a fast gear ratio reel and at least 20 pound fluorocarbon, if not 40 to 65 pound braided line. And finally, the hook set on a craw or a tube is super simple. Let me teach you. At some point during your retrieve, you're gonna feel a thump on your line, ideally, or just some kind of gummy pressure, some resistance when you go to lift it up. That's most likely a fish, and so it's time for you to set the hook. So lower your rod tip slowly as you reel in your slack, and then give the fish a hard, upward sweep of the rod, keeping the pressure on that rod throughout the fight, and you'll land almost every craw and tube bite you get. We hope this video gives you more confidence in using the craw and the tube so you can adapt to the conditions and catch more bass. And I'll see you out on the water.